What is the crack, ladies and gentlemen? It's Gibboeire here with another episode of The Long Dark. How y'all doing? Okay. Right. So, I've had a bit of food. I've had a bit of a ponder. And we can't leave it the way it is, because if I come back to this in a week, and I'm abundantly clueless as to what's gone down, it is very likely that we won't make it. Items of our clothing do appear to be somewhat damaged, potentially as a result of our exposure to the water. Also, potentially, just as a result of us walking around. That is an unknown. It is so cold here that even staying in here in this this building thing is actually too cold. I think it's time to move with a quickness. I think we have overstayed our welcome in this area. I believe it is time to get the fuck up out. If we stay here any longer, we're going to have to start another fire. Unavoidable. Well, perfectly avoidable. We're going to leave. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way out of here now. We've left our shit there. We've left shit up in the other place. And we are going to get on back to the dam. And we're going to bag ourselves a deer at some point. Following which, we're going to make our way to the coastal highway. We'll probably leave the hacksaw in the dam. Because realistically speaking, there's enough metal there to probably last us for 3 lifetimes. I am going to grab these because we are more than likely going to need the extra 300 calories that they will... Or 600 calories. I do see the 2 there on the right hand side. That these will provide, and we will of course abandon the tinder, which we no longer need because our fire starting skills are that immaculate. Damn, man, there's another 450. This may seem silly, but bear in mind we have consumed the majority of our resources that I thought were going to be used getting us to the dam in just staying alive here. Because in the last episode, if you were with me, things didn't go so rosy. Things took a dark turn there. We're still not out of it just yet. And I didn't feel like leaving in a week and then coming back to this having totally forgotten the circumstances that we're in. And the bit of pressure that we're under now to get on out of here. We're beating a hasty retreat from this area because at the moment... I feel like, first of all, we've exhausted pretty much all of the investigative resources that we need to find. I think we've found probably 90% of whatever we could find here. And we've come across a lot of shit that we probably wouldn't have been likely to come across just going around the perimeter and all that shit. Like, we found a body in the last episode, which was just by pure chance because there wasn't even birds floating over it. Like, I think we've actually done quite well out of this area. However, I think if we were to stay here... it would literally just be to survive. And we're not going to be acquiring resources if we stay here. And as such, we'd just be consuming. Which I think, if you reach that point of stagnation, is when you're starting to do this game wrong. I think you constantly need to be pushing forward and trying to get more shit to a point. And when you finally reach that kind of point where there is literally nothing else that you can grab, that's when you got to try and set yourself up for the long haul. And have like 40 liters of water sitting there, a fire going 24/7. And... all that good shit, which there's nothing wrong with either, but for the purpose of this series, that won't be very entertaining. It'll also be quite boring for me to do. But not only that, I'm not going to get to explore the rest of the map. So I think staying here, while would definitely be a viable strategy, would not be prudent in terms of this series. So, while it's safe, we're going to haul ass out of here. Make our way up to the lake. That'll be warm enough for us to recover a bit of our body temperature. We might hang around there for a while. We might poach a deer. Either that or we're probably going to just push on back and get back to the hydro dam. So I think that's our journey for today. Obviously, depending on whether or not there's a fucking wolf sitting, like, right here. Which in itself is likely. I would assume I've investigated whatever this is. You scumbag. What the fuck is that? I think there is a cave somewhere up along there, but I don't fancy going rooting for it right now. I would assume that everything here has been explored. But again, don't make assumptions. It has been a while since I played. You never know. We could miss this one backpack here. But I think we have probably stripped this area bare. Again, of any kind of... These little rocks. Fuck, I thought they were lumps of coal. Of any kind of, like, consumable resources. I think, again, going back to what I've said there, we would just be existing, not progressing. I think that's not where you want to be in this game. I think you want to constantly be pushing forward. And that was a wolf. It would be getting shot, by the way. There is no two ifs, ands, and buts about it. At the moment, we're in crunch time. We need meat as well, so there's... Like, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing to put something down. We have meat enough to keep us going for the rest of the day. But we are looking at knocking out a kill within the 24 hours. Otherwise, we're going to be digging into non-perishables, which we want to avoid pretty much at all costs. We want to always constantly try and keep it to perishable, like meat, hunted goods. Stuff which you can constantly replenish. Now, one thing we could look for is the bunker. But the chances of us finding that are slim to none. And I don't know the spawn locations. Again, as I stressed in the previous episode, there are maps of these areas that you can get. Like you can actually... like, fucking Google it. Get like... it's like someone done it in Paint. And they've drawn like a rough map and like a rough guide of where all the likely spawn points are of various different items and shit like that. Which kind of defeats the purpose of exploring in this game. I'm familiar with this map from playing on it. But I believe that it is possible. And again, I have glanced at these things. That's why I know they exist. They have the bunker locations actually marked on them. So if you really want to find that shit and you want to know exactly where it is and you don't fancy doing what we're doing here, there's an option for you. But however, I feel that kind of defeats the purpose behind this game, so I won't be using one. So if we were to go looking for the bunker, we'd be doing it ye old fashioned way, which would be excruciatingly tough. Boom, 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 boom. Now, just around the corner here is the building that we seek. Again, remember, we don't have any... I don't have the condition to be chasing them down. But if we can get up on them... I have one arrow? Really? What's up with that? I should have more. I feel like I have more. 1, 2. I have 2 arrows, in fact, which is pretty much all we need to kill a deer. Like, 1 if you get a headshot, 2 for body shots, 2 if you get him in the leg. But I don't really feel like chasing deer right now. I feel like our deepest concern is just getting in and out of the cold here, primarily. Probably grabbing a couple of twigs now that I think of it, but also be prudent too. Cause you... yeah, there we go. Hoo-yah. If we could get up behind him, man. If we can put him down in one shot, I'm willing to give it a go. I don't know how close we can get to him. If we can drop this guy now, that kind of alleviates a ton of pressure. But it's not happening, so don't worry about it. I'm not too pushed. Pursuing him now. Jesus, this fucking sticks for days, man. That's how blustery it's been in the past couple of days in this game. And like when you're not here consuming the resources, they do start build up over time. That's what I mean about using the sticks and not using your hatchet to chop wood. Makes far more sense to use this shit up. This shit is infinite to a point, but the hatchet ain't. We ain't got nothing to cook is the only thing, so I would actually like to have a bit of meat. The fuck on the barbie. I'm just having a gander to see if there's any wolves. We could go fishing, but fishing does not... like, we don't have a high skill in it, and it tends to be a bit hit or miss. Which makes sense, it's fishing. So... depending on where this jerk is, we might be able to just bag him. He's there. It's kind of on the way. I would like to get to the dam where I know I have a shit ton of stuff. Like, we have enough food to last us for 2 days max here now at the moment, but I'd like to get back to that point we've seemed to have been in for the past while where we've just had breeding room incessantly. And bagging us a deer would definitely do that. I'm kind of corralling him here over this way. Now, you see the way he's come running back? My fear is that there's a wolf, which is why he's now coming back towards us. Did that kill it? How? I got him in the leg! Oh, I suppose if you really look, we got him in the balls, like, kinda. No, that was a leg shot, dude. He took an arrow to the knee, like... I suppose it kind of went in here, so in theory, it might have been a testicle shot. In which case, ripped ear, feels bad, man. Now, we should be able to do this barehanded. And we should be able to get all of it. Oh, it's gonna take forever. Is the wee little cost, is it? Well, fair enough. Can't have everything. But guess what? Now we've got meat again with one fucking shot.
Carry this load for much longer.
Suck it up, bitch. But we can grab some meat. Oh shit, you can get this fairly fast. And you can do it with your bare hands now as well. For half an hour. With a knife it only takes 27 minutes. Jesus, I'd do it bare fucking handed and fuck that, man. Half an hour? Get a hide? How long does the gut take? Take this off? Oh, the gut takes a while. And with the knife, the gut takes nothing. Clear skies. 9 kilos of meat on me. Let's get the fuck out of here. Did I grab my arrow? I did. Let's get our rifle out. And let's get on with getting on. But anyway, yeah, there is a bunker, and like that's I don't know if it sometimes or always spawns, and may not necessarily be localized to this map. It may be actually is that meant to be Timberwolf Mountain? I think it is meant to be Timberwolf Mountain, or actually that might be over there. It could be any of the above. I was just pulling shit out of my ear, but it does spawn somewhere, or maybe not necessarily spawns at all. So there is a chance that there is one of these, like it's like a bomb shelter. I've yet to see it myself. But I would like to. And this could be the series to do it in. But it will have everything in it that you could ever fucking need to survive. So, like, finding it would be huge. But finding it would be difficult. So, there is a cost with it. And the cost, of course, would be the cost of exploration. Which has all of its usual inherent risks. From what I understand... It's pretty much, it's like meant to be up in like these types of hills. Not necessarily these three here, but like that's the sort of places you need to be looking. And like in and around the tippy tops of them. All around the perimeter of the map. And what you should just see is like a hatch. And obviously you can click on that and it says like the bunker or some shit. When you go down into it, it's like a couple of beds, a load of shelves and all that. And it's just stockpiled with fucking food and bullshit that you could ever need. It's meant to be... likely to be full of like a gun, ammo, all that type of crack. So finding it obviously would be massive in terms of your survival, but you would have to invest in finding it, and the investment of course being calories. But since we seem to be getting quite proficient with our old bow, like, is that a big deal? We could do it. I would of course like to get home first, and I would like to cook up the bit of venison that we have and then proceed from there. So move from a position of strength as opposed to the position of weakness that we're currently in. Bear in mind that there's be wolves all over this shop up here. Need to be careful. I think we're alright. I think we actually made a camp. Yeah, there's a fire there that we made before. Yep, that's it. We survived there at some stage. I see a feather. Gonna grab it because like you will eventually start running out of those. You gotta grab them while you can. You need them to make them arrows. They respawn too, but grab them when you see them. You won't need to worry about them. I think we have a few back at base. I wonder if I could go pow, you know, take a crow out and get about 40 feathers that way. Would that be a bit much? Would that be a bit much? I have a feeling we're gonna have a clear stretch back up here now. I have a feeling there's not going to be any wolves right up until the end. Then we're likely to encounter one. Oh, the ice mechanics. The game sometimes is just so punishing for very obtuse reasons. I know people will watch that and be like, yeah, you were on the ice. And I'm aware I was on the ice. But what I find frustrating is that the character could very easily put his feet up on that snow if needs be. And you could also argue that that could be a cliff face and it could just be a wee little bank of snow on the weak ice. Which, yeah, granted, but there's a wolf there, of course. I still think it was a very obtuse spot to have weak ice, considering that typically ice within a certain distance of land wasn't weak ice. And by following the game rules of that logic, it didn't make sense for that to be weak. And I know I'm harping on about it now, but that's why I did what I did. In case anyone's wondering. I just figured maybe it was a buggy spot. They are gunning right for me. Fuck it. There are 3. And they are, like, homing in to fuck. Oh, no. No, no, no. You are not steep. Let's get going. Wait for the sprain. Okay, so the way I figure we're gonna... No. Okay. No, that's not gonna happen. The way I was about to say we were gonna figure our way through this was gonna be to follow the spine of that hill. And then proceed along the spine of all the hills until we got back to base. And then we would just wing our way down. But that appears to not be an option, considering the path those wolves are currently taking. So what we're gonna do is go around this way here. Which does typically be full of fucking wolves as well, may I add. Hopefully we won't encounter any more on our journey along this way. And we'll just path around them. No biggie. That's an easy enough one to circumnavigate. Remember, we do have a load of sticks on us and shit like that. Like, we are able to start a fire in the event of a fucking emergency. I'm grabbing a couple. Now there's the kicker. I'm aware there's buildings behind me, by the way, but I want to get back to the dam, which may not be possible now that I'm looking. Like, it may not be possible short of firing off a round, which I really don't want to do. He is... There's a deer behind him. And if he turns around and goes back towards that deer, we're golden. They're getting very close to us now. Back up. We're going back up. I'm going to pause this for a second. Oh yeah, and we're back again. Fucking phone. Going like the clappers now today. It's amazing. You're back in work the next day and you just get hammered with shit. Hammered with shit. That wasn't even my boss or any of my colleagues fucking calling me. That was just shit filtered in and around it with my friends. But it just seems to all happen at the one time. At the same time. Grab these rose hips. I'm going to start being religious about gathering these as I come across them. We are going to cook the shit up out of our food. In this wooden stove. 80%. 4 in 5 chance it's going to happen. We're going to cook up all of our meat. Get it all ready to go. I'm going to read my texts. And then... hopefully we either will bed down here for the next couple of hours. And hopefully the wolves move on. Or we'll have dispersed enough that we can path our way... Discord. Or they will have dispersed enough that we can path our way around them and make our way to the dam. That's what I'm hoping, anyway. We're gonna cook all of this shit. which is going to give us a load of breathing space on the next hole. We're alright for water. I think it's pretty much just food now is our cruncher. Can't believe I put that down with one shot, may I add. That was... It definitely seems to me that they have different health pools. Like, I'm hearing something. No, we're alright. It definitely seems like mobs seem to have different health pools. Like, the animals don't seem to all be, like, the same. Like, there definitely seems to be a bit of variety in terms of the, weights of them. The delicateness of them in terms of, like, vulnerability to weapons and all that type of crack. So, I reckon that probably is a facet of this game that I just wasn't really aware of prior to this. I'm going to run out and try and grab some sticks, actually, very, very quickly. So that way we can keep this bad boy going so I can finish off these last couple of... Oh, fucking... Scraggly bush? No, it's not. Shit. Right, well, let's... What the fuck am I hearing? There's not a fucking wolf here, well, is there? Can't be. No. Right, we're gonna get up here, grab a couple of sticks, get back to that, and then spark her up again. Because I want to get all these steaks fucking done now that I have a fire going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep wasting matches. Like, if we can just keep adding a bit more fuel onto her. I'd say about 5 sticks will do us for the last couple of steaks, but sure. Excess is what you want in all things, so we'll try and go for about 10. Basically this pile. I heard that. I feel like that was close. I don't know, I think when they howl, I think it's indicative of the game moving them towards you. I like that little stove fire, by the way. You see what I mean about that? That's very homely. That's a kind of like, that's a real kind of like, yeah, safety. We're gonna make it kind of feeling when you see that shit. Even in the context of the video game. I like that. I wish that was a bit more prevalent throughout all of the fires. Would definitely be a nicer... Let's just get in here and get this cooked and then bed down and assess what we're doing from there. Don't want to be out and about here for too long. Do I have to start another one? Shit, right, so we missed out by like a minute or two there. So what we're gonna do is start another one, unfortunately, but also boil a bit of water. Do hopefully a rosehip tea if we can.
Come on.
I don't think there's much else than we need to be doing, really. We can bring a couple of gallons of water with us. Fuck it. Leave it in the dam. That means that we'll always have a bit of extra that we can work our way through. Our condition is up in the 64 there, so I'm not overly concerned about looking after ourselves here now at the moment. Our dude is dehydrated, but we can look after it not shortly. We didn't need to put that many in, but I don't care. Excess, that's what I said. It's good. Our actual condition is deteriorating quite rapidly, so I'm going to eat a steak very quickly. So that way I just have a bit of calories in me, and we're just going to top our dude off while we're here. And again, it is nice to see that screen full of meat that's ready to go, ready to be consumed. It just... oh, it gives you a bit of breathing space so that you can think about other stuff and focus on other stuff. And as long as we can keep bringing down deer, we can focus on getting other shit.
At least to rest.
As long as we're able to do that. Now, can I make another one? No, I cannot. But what we will do is a liter of water. Boil that bad boy up. I assume making less water, boiling less water takes less time, less energy. Science, kids. I'm sure he's going to figure that out. Of course, we can't purify it, but I'm going to save those until we need them. Always try and save things until you need them. And remember, every pack of matches basically buys us 15 fires. Give or take. Gonna put our head down on one of these buildings for the night. The weather's good, but we're pooped, and there's all sorts of animals around us, so I'm fucking terrified. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of reading, as ever. Try and catch up on a bit of that. We can smash all this shit up. Like, that's something we need to bear in mind. Like, there's so much stuff that actually hasn't been harvested, technically speaking, and may reveal further goodies upon harvesting. Like, So much gear that we can still technically take advantage of. And while we have looted all of these areas, there's still potentially so much here that we just haven't come across. Do you know what I mean? The old bedroll there. There's 6 cloth. Like, that keeps you going. Now that we have access to metal, we'll be able to chop that shit up. That'll keep us going. So much stuff. And again, we're now avoiding using any of the perishables because why? We've got non-perishables, which we will, of course, consume instead. Eat the 122 calories out of this. Whatever. Drink a half gallon of water. Not even. No. And what do we got? We got 2 hours, so we do a bit of reading. Field dressing. Frontier shooting guide. Where do we go from here? Notice how the gut hasn't deteriorated while it's been in our inventory, by the way. Good observation. If it's on you, it doesn't seem to deteriorate. So I would assume also if it's packed away, it won't deteriorate. I feel like we've got the shooting down. I feel like we would benefit more from this bad boy. So let's do 2 hours of this shit. Or as much of as we can, rather. There we go. We got 2 hours in. It is now pretty much darkness. Let us very, very quickly... What time are we at? Go for a snooze. In fact, let us do 10. Let's go for a full whack of 10. We'll wake up if we're fully rested, which is fine. Top off our calories. Hopefully. Hopefully. There are no more fucking wolves in the immediate vicinity. Let us very promptly top off our calories. And drink a bit of H2O. And what I reckon is we're going to wrap this episode up here. And in the next one, we're going to make our way to the dam. And hopefully we get the fuck out of here. So this has been Gibboeire, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like down below. And possibly consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any other comments, questions, concerns about anything that happened in this video, leave it down below in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Take her handy. Bye-bye!